Hey kids. Welcome back. Come inside, come inside. So, this is likely the last installment of the Uncle Todd Book Club. There's not much in the last 4 chapters that relates to arm wrestling, but there's a few interesting nuggets of truth that y'all might find useful. Once again, buy the book here at westsidebarbell.com. And I'm actually reviewing how the book's used now, but all my previous videos were based on the articles that I had read published by Louis from the 1990s to the 2000s. So the Westside Barbell and the Conjugate method has changed quite a bit since then, and I hope I did a good job pointing out where those changes actually occurred. All right. Page 89, max effort day. You rotate the bar, you rotate the exercise each week. On speed strength day, every 4th week, and they're running 75, 80, 85% on speed strength day. He goes and covers a whole bunch of variations on benching and squatting exercises you can do. So I've listed just some variations of both side pressure and back pressure exercises to get y'all started. Once again, the reason for the wave and the reason for the switching exercises that if you work over 90% for 3 weeks, you stop making progress due to accommodation. All right, so most of these exercises you're all familiar with. I got a big 3-inch wrist wrench. I have a 2.5-inch multi-spinner. You can have both a pronated and a supinated grip. A wrist max, which for me, it's a multi-spinner built out of a 2x4. I've seen the wrist max. It's a slightly curved wrist wrench type exercise. I don't know who makes it. Brian Shaw had one. That's the only one I've ever actually used. I have a couple of multi-spinners that are basically 2 inches by 4 inches, given to me by, I believe it's TFCC out of China. Very good handle. Then, of course, the karate belt stuff. My back pressure exercises for this training system are all barbell based. Okay, typical reverse curl that you're all familiar with. You can do riser, hammer, pronation, and supination curls by taking 2 karate belts or 2 arm wrestling straps and wrapping them around the bar. And so this gives you 5. You can then do these curls from various pins off a power rack. So say you choose 2 other pins besides full range. So that's 5 times 3, that's 15. You can add 1 or 2 levels of bands. So that gets you from 15 to, 30, maybe 45. And one of my favorites is you can add weights to these, but not adding the weight directly to the bar, but actually hanging weights. Like you double up a purple strap at each end of the bar, hang a weight for there so that the weights actually wobble and bounce. The wobbly weight versions of these is quite intense if you got a lot of wobbly weight. It'll humble you. I mean, if your reverse curl's 100 pounds and you put 50 of it at wobbly, sometimes it'll cut your working weight down to about half, 50 pounds. So a 50-pound max reverse curl can easily become 50 pounds if the weights are wobbly. Very interesting. Builds a lot of stability in the wrists, shoulders, and the arms. They're fun exercises. Oh, okay. Jumps. I'm sneaking up on these jumps. All right. 99. Max effort is superior to all other training methods. You have to do somebody asked me the other day about adding his max effort day. I said, dude, your max effort day should be the basis of your training. It's not something you add in. It's something that you actually do. That's the whole point of working out, is to get the max efforts. Your max effort workouts, that's basically your feedback loop to make sure your training's going. If your max efforts are going up on a regular basis, if you're at least adding 2 to 10% to your max effort every time that cycle comes around, well, then your training's working. If not, you better dive into it and figure out what's wrong. This was interesting. The Bulgarian weightlifting team did max effort workouts daily. Here, I'm asking you to do, max effort workout weekly. So none of us are as bad as the Bulgarians. Okay, now I'm just going to step you through the program I'm currently using for East versus West 20. This is important. I have very, very little commitment or loyalty to any one training program. All right, the overall strategy will stay the same, but I change it a lot. Okay, if a new exercise comes across, if I see somebody doing something interesting, I'll add it in. I'll swap days. I'll just try various things. I'll do, heavy volume, light volume, whatever I think I actually need. We have just arm wrestling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 9 workouts and 3 practices. That's for me. Plus I got the 2 leg days. So my intent is always to outwork whatever my future opponents are doing. The practices are sometimes pretty grueling because I'm kind of tired by the time I get there. But in practice, I rarely pin people. I like to fight people between the 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock position, focus on hand control, controlling the match, working on positions and stuff. Every once, a couple times a year, maybe we'll do some ready goes. But for the most part, practices and endurance, work capacity, skills development thing. Practice does not count as part of your training. You can't substitute practice for speed day. You can't substitute it for endurance day. You can't substitute it for max day or volume day. All right, endurance work. These are the workouts that I change most often, okay? Right now I'm doing farmer walks. I love these. So I'll probably I've been doing these for about 4 or 5 months now. The weights have all changed. I was working in the 20 to 25 pound range. I now do a wave, 40 pounds by 8 1/8 mile trips, 45 by 6, 50 by 4, then I wave back. These I do Mondays and Wednesdays. Okay? I do them in a park. This is pretty much the extent of my jumping. Louis says jumping helps all sports. We'll find out. But listen, it takes a lot of courage for me to try to jump up on a park bench, because if I miss it by inches, man, I'm so scared of scraping my shins all down that bench and then looking like a fool to the first grade class that's constantly out walking in the park. The park I train in is right next to an elementary school, so I'm constantly running into little kids, seeing some crazy bald man walking through the woods carrying 40 pounds in each hand. Tuesdays and Fridays, these are my cup ups. These are my pull ups on a spinning 4.5 inch bar. Again, from now on, I'm doing a wave on everything. I'll do 8 by 7 with the green band. This is unloading. The green band's probably 40 pounds, so it's taking 40 pounds off my body weight. 6 by 5 with the purple band, unloading. My purple band's 20, so my 220 pound body weight is probably now 200-ish. And then 6 by 2 with no band. This is what I keep trying to push this up. If I can squeeze an extra rep or 2 out with no band, I do. These I stay pretty much consistent. I just try to bang these out quickly. I was doing some explosive work after these cup ups, but now this is something that I just started a couple of weeks ago. I'm really liking this pinch grip clean and press. So a 25 pound plate, 5 sets of 5. A 25 and a 5 pound plate pinched together for 30, 5 sets of 3s. Then the 25 pound plate and a 10 pound plate for 5 sets of Uh, my right hand can usually do mostly, it can definitely do 5 singles. It could probably do, 3 or 4 doubles in it. My left hand sometimes can't even get it. These are, do, do these someplace where a safe floor. I have those big rubber 45-pound plates for deadlifters. I do mine over that because you start dropping 35 pounds into a floor, you you get some attention. And I rent my floor, so I don't want to have to be repairing the hardwood floor in the apartment I'm renting. Speed strength day. Okay. The biggest change here is the book says to do 75, 80, 80, no, 70, 75, 80 is what the book says. The the videos I've been watching on Westside Barbell has people doing 75, 80, and 85. Through experience with myself and uh, Craig, Andy Davis, Jamie Baker, and Tyson Borman, they found that working in this 85 to 90% range really, really pushes the max efforts up. So my speed strengths are now at the 80, 85, and 90% wave. Um, we're pioneers here trying to apply this conjugate method to arm wrestling. So, I'll try this for a while, see if it works. When I'm working in these 85, 90% ranges, I just use the chart, the AS Prilipin chart that we covered in, I think it was chapter 3. Anyways, I'll show this chart in a second. The side pressure exercises I chose for East First West 20 is I wave between, now I superset these 2 max efforts. So I'll do the 3-inch wrist wrench, and I will superset that. I think I superset it with the pronation curl. I'll do the 2x4 rectangular wrist wrench, superset it with the riser curl, and then the 2-inch by 4-inch multi-spinner with the reverse curl. So I do, I do my charts, but I'll do one set with the wrist wrench, then I'll come down here and do a set with the pronation curl. I'll just superset these 2 things. At the end of getting through this 9 sets, I then do my calves, my elbows, my abs, and kettlebell swings. I pretty much do this circuit on every single workout. If you don't know what these are good elbows, or good overall arm shoulder development. You can do it with a plate or a bar, but you just basically start with it at your waist, curl it to your chest, shoulder press it overhead, do a tricep extension, lower it to your chest, uncurl it down to your waist. Pretty simple, but it works, it pretty much works the whole arm wrestling chain. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I count the weight of the band. Right now I'm using my purple band. My plan is to, after East First West 20, start using the green band just to get used to it. All this band work can sometimes develop soreness, so I'm sneaking up on it. Here's the chart I was telling you about. So when I get to the 80, 90% range, I pretty much try to hit the middle of this total number of lifts. Okay, so I'm usually doing 5 to 9 sets and trying to hit Louis' recommendations for this total number of lifts for speed day. Print this out, tape it to your lifting book so you just have it. It's very handy. Whenever you're doing a new exercise or trying something else out, you kind of guess what percentage you're at, and then you know how many lifts to target for it. All right, max effort day. These are the exercises I change the most. And these are, again, a superset. Okay? So, the wrist pretty much the same. These are the exact same exercises I'm doing on speed strength day. And I superset them the same way. I try to hit at least 95%. A 1 rep max is great. Hitting 100% is great. One thing I noticed, this is the first time I started doing 2 max efforts in one workout, and all my side pressure work dropped about 10%. So instead of setting PRs, man, I was lucky to get like 90%. I've been in this for, let's see, September, about 4 weeks now, and my side pressure maxes are creeping up. I'm getting over 95. I'm sometimes tying the 100% on my side pressures now. My back pressures are coming up fast, but I never really trained them diligently with the system. So I'm attributing that to, all the other volume and all the other work I'm doing, and the fact that it's 2 max efforts in one workout. So I think it's going to work right now. I'll let you know as we go. Like Louis says, if I ever stall on a max effort, I'll switch maximum effort day to an repetitious work with isometrics, then a couple of heavy efforts, and I'll go back to maxing. These days, I finish with 2 different wrist curls. I superset them for 100 reps total. So 2 sets of 25 on 2 different wrist curls. Elbows. I superset elbows and internal rotation. This is a terrible name, and I can't quite find on YouTube what I actually do. Most of the internal rotations on YouTube, they weight the eccentric motion. So as your hand's moving towards your back, that's where they put the resistance. I got the resistance on the front side, so I don't know if it's the same exercise or not. I don't call it internal rotation. I call it break arms, because that's kind of the position I'm in when I'm doing this. Again, about 2 sets of 25 of each, and then calves, abs, kettlebell swings. Finish out max day. Okay, here's basically my rehab days. So Wednesdays is all reactive wrist work. So if you remember from the earlier chapters, this is like 50-60% of the resistance is band works. And it's usually some sort of forward wrist curl and some sort of reverse wrist curl. These are supersetted. Then I do a JM press elbow superset, because I have my weight bench on Wednesdays. Train shoulders, hit this abs again. Saturdays is explosive wrist work. Right now, what I'm doing is I am throwing plates. So I do a wave of 25, 30, 35. And I'm throwing the plates for, between 5 and 10 total tosses. Again, they're a superset for back pressure and side pressure. And then finish it up with the same internal rotation, elbow superset, shoulders, and calves, abs, kettlebells. Sunday, I do pretty much no arm work, just the rotation, elbow superset, shoulders, calves. Doing some tricep work at the end, and then, arm wrestlers are constantly inventing new exercises and new wrist work. If I see one that's interesting, I tack it onto the end of this day and decide if I'm going to sneak it into the workout somewhere. Oh, yeah, leg days. I just follow the book, except speed days 1 exercise, max days 1 exercise. I train at home. I train in my home gym, trying to do 2 max effort exercises in one day. It's too complicated. It's too much of a setup. I don't have the time, or to be honest, the inclination to work that. I'll be happy if I get my squats up, and even though my squat maxes are going up, I'm not going to mention what they are. But I had a few questions on my form, so I watched a West Side barbell squat video, and there was a little 150-pound girl doing speed day squats. She had 2 more plates than me and purple bands on the bar above my max. So I probably have an honorable squat for an arm wrestler, but I do not have an honorable squat for a power lifter. All right. This goes back to trying new things. All right? Don't be afraid to fail or look like a fool. And that's it, kids. I appreciate you for watching. Call your mom, do your JM presses. Thanks again. Bye.